Across the Fraser Valley, the market feels like it's in a bit of a standoff. Buyers expect value and sellers want yesterday's prices. The gap is keeping sales in check. But here in Mission, the numbers might surprise you. I'm Irene, your local realtor, right here in my community of Mission, BC, and I've been helping people buy and sell for nearly 20 years. And if you're thinking about getting into this market, let's talk. My contact information is in the description box below. In today's update, we're going to look at what's sold in July and see what homes, townhomes, and apartments are moving right now. And then we'll take a look at the past 3 years to see how we got to where we are today. But before we get into Mission, let's start with the Fraser Valley overview. Across the Fraser Valley, July was steady on paper, but the story underneath was all about caution. Sales have been relatively flat since June, and this month about 3% lower than last year. Active listings stayed high with nearly 11,000 properties on the market, giving buyers plenty of choice. And keeping the sales to active list ratio at 11%, and that's firmly in a buyer's market territory. Benchmark prices eased again in every category. And for buyers who can push past uncertainty, this is the kind of market where patience and timing can pay off. As for sellers, it's more than just showing well. It's about reading the market and pricing in today's reality, making your home the obvious yes in a sea of maybes. Here in Mission, buyers are being selective. They're zeroing in on homes that feel attainable and are showing clear value in today's market. Overpriced listings are seeing little or no activity, and when you look at the sales numbers, it all becomes crystal clear. In July, Mission recorded 56 sales across all property types. That's up from 47 in June, but it's down from 61 last year. Let's break it down by price. 19 under 700,000, 15 between 700 and 1 million, 12 between 1 million and 1.3 million, 5 between 1.3 million and 1.5 million, 4 between 1.5 million and 2 million, and 1 over 2 million. So most of the movement was under 1.1 million, and only a handful of these sales were in the higher price points. And when we look at supply versus demand, the picture becomes even clearer. In July, Mission had 394 active listings and just 56 sales. That puts the sales to list ratio at 14.2%, which is equaling about 7 months of inventory. And for context, the balanced market typically runs closer to 4 or 5 months. Let's take a closer look at detached homes in Mission. In July, the benchmark price came in at $1,033,100. That's up slightly from June and down 1.5% from last year. We saw 40 detached sales with 303 active listings, and that works out to about 8.4 months of inventory. Plenty of choice for buyers, more competition for sellers. And let's take a look at what actually sold in July. Under 700,000, we had 5 sales, and 2 of those were mobile homes, and 3 were detached houses that stood out for affordability. Between 700,000 and 1 million, we saw 13 sales, mostly older family homes and smaller detached lots. Between 1 million to 1.3 million, Mission saw 12 sales, and most of those again came under 1.1 million, showing buyers are being very careful not to stretch too far. Between 1.3 million and 1.5, we had 5 sales, all of these small acreages. Between 1.5 and 2 million, 4 sales. Again, acreages. Over 2 million, 1 sale. A standout property at that looked like something straight out of Pinterest. So the bulk of activity is still happening below 1.1 million with small acreages filling in the higher price points this month. And now, just to give you some background, let's take a look at detached homes, the 3-year trend. And this should put the market into a bit more perspective. Mission's benchmark price peaked in early 2022 at about $1,350,000. And since then, prices have corrected sharply. Benchmark price has been steady between 1 and 1.1 million since spring of 2023. So here we are in 2025, and the big picture shows a market that spiked, reset, and now remains reasonably flat. Sales are telling a similar story. At the height of 2022, we saw up to 65 detached sales in a single month. By December 2024, sales dropped to their lowest point. And this year, activity has been creeping back up, but it's been a slow climb, and the reasons are no surprise. Higher interest rates, affordability challenges, and hesitation from buyers. With the Bank of Canada paused at 2.75%, and it's been unchanged since March, it's a far cry from the ultra-low rates that fueled the frenzy in 2021 and 2022. Sales are improving, but nowhere near the past highs. And with the strongest demand still under 1.1 million. Now let's shift to Mission Townhomes. This segment continues to struggle. Now, with more listings available, the extra competition in the valley is keeping sales slow. In July, the benchmark price came in at $663,000, and that's up from June, but still down 3.3% compared to last year. We had 6 sales in July, same as June, but down sharply from 15 sales last year. Active listings reached 47, leaving us with 5.9 months of inventory, balanced on paper, but leaning slow. Most sales ranged between $600,000 to $700,000, and those were mainly 3-bedroom family townhomes. And again, affordability is the biggest factor driving this demand. From the 3-year view, townhome prices peaked in 2022 with a benchmark price of $737,000. They fell sharply in 2023 and now seem to be moving a little lower, with the majority of sales coming in between the 620s to 680s. Sales are telling another story. Starting mid-2024, sales hit a high of 15 in a month, but momentum cooled, and this July we were down to 6. With more and more new townhomes being built in more convenient locations, resale townhomes here are remaining a tougher sell. Apartments in Mission picked up momentum in July. Sales were up and fewer active listings. This gave this segment an edge. The benchmark price came in at $441,500, and that's down 2.6% from June and down just over 5% last year. But we had 10 sales in July, up 22% from June, up 25% from last July. Active listings sat at 44, a drop from June, but still a little higher year over year, leaving us with 4 months of inventory. Most of the activity in July was between $250,000 and $600,000, and it included smaller 1-bedroom and larger 2-bedroom units. Buyers in this range are clearly shopping value. Now, looking back at the last 3 years, apartments peaked at a benchmark price of nearly $500,000 in mid-2022. Then the prices came down in 2023, and they've been slowly recovering ever since. Sales have been choppy, up 1 month, down the next, but overall apartments are finding their popularity in recent months. Now, at the end of the day, every seller in Mission is asking the same question. What's actually going to get my home sold right now? Well, it comes down to 3 things. 1, pricing where today's buyers are. Number 2, adjusting when the market shifts. And number 3, working with an experienced realtor who knows your local market inside and out. And that's where I come in. If you'd like a clear plan that actually works in Mission right now, let's talk. I'm Irene, and I'm local and loving it.